Hello, 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 and welcome to this YouTube channel. My name is Jameelah, and I am a master manifester, and I'm sure you are too because you are consuming content like this. The name of this lovely channel is Holistic Manifesting because I believe in whole body, whole mind, and whole being experience when it comes to manifesting the amazing lives that we are all choosing. What I'm discussing in this video is why hard work doesn't work. One of the most common things you'll hear people talk about when they talk about people that are experiencing abundance or people that have a financial expansion in their lives, I hear the conversations around it all the time. It's that I work hard too. Why don't I have this? And I think that's the opposite mindset. And I think we kind of know that already, but we're very conditioned and programmed to work really hard for anything that we're trying to create in our lives, right? The primary thing that's wrong with the idea of working hard and then like why it doesn't work is because it's a very finite way of seeing how you should operate. Like it's a very finite way. It's like if I toil, if I hustle, if I bang it out, then I get what I want, right? And we all know this is not true. You've watched people work hard for 50, 60 years and still don't have the results they want to have in their lives. And that's because primarily mindset shifts haven't happened and strategic working hasn't come into play. But it's a very finite approach. It's like either it's this or it's nothing. Either I work hard for it or I don't get it at all, right? And then in the process, you're not co-creating. It's all on you. So instead of co-creating with all of the excitement and energy and I'll say magic, but not like real magic, but like magic of the universe and all of the happenings around you and all of the people and all of the tools that we have, like instead of co-creating with that process, you're like, no, if I don't do it, it's not going to get done. If I don't do it like this, I'm not going to get it. Like you're very what is it called? Fixated on the how, and you push all your time and energy into the how and how it's going to happen. And that does not work because we've all seen where people are completely blocking out everything and everybody around them. And they put all their time and energy into a project or something they're trying to create, and they don't find the success that they're looking for. And it's because they're not using the tools and the things that we have access to around us to co-create. Like, say for instance, I try not to bring everything back to raising children, but this was just something that I knew was important. I've seen people raise children with villages, and then I've seen people raise children without a village. And I'm not saying we always have control over whether or not we have a village or not in our vicinity and people we have access to. But what I do know the difference is that one of them is a very hard and focused and not very pleasant experience when it comes to raising children. And most of the time it's because all of the things you have access to around you, you're not tapping into. And it's like, say something simple like cooking. You may not be a cook, but you may have somebody around who doesn't mind cooking, and they may cook for your children and all those things, and they don't mind. So then you're tapping into that part of the village. They come over with a pot of food and you're just like, oh, this is so nice, right? But if you're not connected to everything that's happening around you, as not being a cook, you're in there cooking too. And it's the same thing with cleaning. When you're able to grab aspects of the world around you and bring it into your experience, that means there's less work for you. And I think people don't understand that because they're so used to having everything fall on their back, and they're so used to being an individual, because I believe that if you're born in this country for sure, you have a very individualistic mindset. And in that process, we really forget that we don't really do anything on our own, right? We really don't do anything on our own. And then another reason why working hard doesn't work is that you run out of time and energy. Your energy and your time is so finite. Like in a day, you have these 24 hours, right? And then your energy, when you're tapped out, like you won't even be able to do anything to stay awake and to not relax or to not, take a load off. I've seen it with myself. I'll be like, let me get this one more thing done. And then I'll sit on the couch for a second. And then I'll get to a place where I can't even keep my eyes open. And so then I know, you know what? All the energy you had for today has been used. It is time for your battery to be recharged. You need to be replenished, even though in your mind you feel like I can go more and I can get more done and I can do more stuff, but it's done. And then the time is done for the day, right? So when you are always in the mindset of working hard, that is the quickest way to be in that scarcity place of I'm running out of time and I'm running out of energy, because every single day you're going to run out of time and energy because you're not using the world around you. You're not tapping into the places and the people and the things that can make your load a little bit lighter. And it doesn't even have to be like people and places and things that you know. One of my big ones I always talk about, there's no virtue in killing yourself to get something done. I've learned this. One thing I always talk about is that grocery curbside pickup, because I am not a fan of the grocery store. It is frantic. You have to push that basket around, people running into you, people cutting you off. It's like driving. And it's like you got to get vegetables over here, then you got to go 100 yards to go get some eggs. And it's like, it's very taxing. And what I know about hard work is that even when you're in it and you don't feel like it's wearing you out, it's still wearing you out. It's just that you're on autopilot and you're just going with the flow and doing the things, but it's still wearing you out at the end of the day. It's still working you out. It's like going to the gym and lifting weights. Even if you don't feel it and you're like, oh, that was nothing, it's still building your muscle at the end of the day. And so that's the same thing that's happening. So I'm huge on curbside pickup, because what I realize is that I buy the same stuff every month. Every now and then there's a variation of an item, a meal that I want to make for the week. But for the most part, it's the same old stuff every month. And the children eat the same pretty much snacks. And there's a tiny bit variation. And I was like, I don't need to go and pick this stuff out. I know exactly what it is. And, you know, the sale prices are online too when you shop in that cart online. And I'm like, this makes my life so much easier. And then another thing is that we don't have enough focus when we're working hard on how to be present, because hard work comes from the idea that you have to get it all done and you have to get it all fit in. And so with that mindset, you're not really living in the present moment. You're always thinking about what has to be done and how you're going to get it done and how much work you got to do to get it done. And that's just the way that it's going to work. It's really hard to be in the present moment when you're working really hard. It's like two different focuses. When you're able to relax and like slow down, that's when you're able to be like, okay, now I can be present. But like working hard, your focus and your time and your energy is completely lasered in on getting a job done, or, you know, getting something over with, something like that. And then for the most part, when you're working hard, it pulls you out of the receptive mode, because what it's saying to the universe is that I got this. I can handle this all by myself. I got this. You know, I don't need, you know, any outside help. I don't need to have divine timing. I don't need to have, what is it called? Inspired action. It's like you're saying, I got this, and you're completely out of the receptive mode, and now you're in the attack mode. It's like, I'm going to get this done. I'm going to check this off my to-do list. I'm going to make this money. I'm going to buy this car and buy this house, and I'm going to do it like this, that. Because I think we get into the hard-working mindset when we get frustrated with things not working out at the pace we want them to work out. So we start to see a little bit of progress somewhere, and then we don't see the pace that we want to have. And then sometimes we start attacking things because we're like, it'll keep me busy. If I feel like if I get it done, it's going to get done. And sometimes we do see some results like that, but it truly pulls you out of the receptive mode. And then it's really hard to bring in what you want to experience without you having that hard work attached to it all the time, right? And then, like I said before, even if you don't see it, it causes long-term mental, physical, and emotional tear down. Like, it'll wear you out. Like, I've seen people, you can work really hard in your 20s, you can work just as hard in your 30s. By the time you get to 40s, if you're still doing that kind of back-breaking work or whatever it is, burning the candle at both ends and stuff like that, as they say, showing up at a job at 6 in the morning and then being the last one to leave at night, it's going to take a toll on you at some point. If it is not your purpose and your drive and what you love in life and you're not enjoying it, and I'm going to talk about that in a second too, it's going to wear on you. It's going to wear on you emotionally. It's going to be a long-term mental impact and then a long-term physical impact. I've worked with people several times over the years to where you don't know what time they came in. They were there before you got there. And then when it was time for you to leave in the evening, it's almost 6 o'clock. They're still sitting there and they're still working and doing things. And they're always talking about headaches and being stressed out. It's only so long you can stress out this avatar before it gives you feedback that says, take care of me or else. It's only so long that you can do that. And I think sometimes we forget, and then we start to think that, you know, it's okay to have this back pain. It's okay to have this neck pain. It's okay for my feet to be hurting for no good reason at the arches. I remember somebody kept telling me that a while ago, and I was like, you ever think you might be on your feet too much? I was like, you got to find something else. And so they eventually found something else to do that didn't require them to be on their feet so much. It's like eventually this avatar is finite. It's meant to be used and it can be worn out really easily. We know it ages, it gets older, things don't operate in it as well as it did when you were 15, 16 years old, right? And you have to respect that. You have to respect the finite body that you are in and understand that even if I don't feel it today, not taking care of myself and doing the hard stuff and pushing myself too far is going to catch up with me at some point. It's like eating diets and stuff like that. I can go so far when it comes to like junk food and like putting things in my system, but then I start to see a little feedback in my body, you know, the way things feel and stuff with clothes I put on and all. I'm like, hey, I could fit that last month. And I'm like, okay, eventually it'll catch up. So like the first week, no, you won't notice. You're going to be sitting there eating that junk food and all that and the ice cream and the cakes with no problem. It's going to be about a month in and you're still doing it and it's going to catch up. And it's the same thing with your long-term mental and physical and emotional strength. You want to keep it up because you need to be in good shape for the whole longevity of the life that you want to live, right? And then what we consider hard work really varies from person to person. Like I said before, I've done things that are hard work to other people, but are light work for me, and vice versa. And what I'm saying is that when you are in the zone and when you are in a place where you are flowing and you are doing the work that you love and you're enjoying what you're doing and you're not really trying to hardcore get a result from it, even though a result would be nice, but you really just enjoy doing it. I can literally look at this YouTube channel and say the same thing. I've just been enjoying doing this for many years. And there were times when it felt like a heavy lift and then I would take a break from it, right? And then I would go back to it when I felt like I was in flow again. I've written, about 8 books, I think, at this point, and like 4 of them are novels, and they're pretty detailed and lengthy, and they had to connect the dots, and one of them is a murder mystery. You know, it's not easy to write like that. But when I was doing it, and when I was sitting there creating those stories, it was light work for me in a sense. Like it was challenging, but it was joyful. If you do that to someone else who's not remotely into writing, who doesn't care about wordplay and all that kind of stuff, that's going to be hard work for them. It's going to be exhausting. It's going to be depressing. And we got to remember that sometimes, you know, somebody might say, oh, that's hard work. But if it's in your flow and it's in your purpose and it's in your wheelhouse, it may not feel that way for you. And only you know that when you are, you know, doing a job or doing something that you love. Because it's not to say that you should never be working on something that pulls more out of you, that's more challenging, that requires more of you in order to get a result. But when that happens, it should be something that you are so excited about the end result, the product and the journey, that you don't even feel like it's just this rough and tough work. You may be frustrated with not seeing an outcome at different points, because that will come and go, and that does happen, especially when you're working on long-term projects. But at the end of the day, when you're doing that work, it's like second nature to you because it's something that you're truly connected to, right? And then another thing I noticed too, and this is on the piggyback on the last thing, I write books and all, and I love it, but for me, marketing is hard. And if I was the kind of person that's just like, I'm going to sell these books, I'm going to market until my face falls off, I'm going to figure it out, I'm going to do this thing. And I've done that before and it never got me any major headway because, first of all, I was not in a receptive mode and all the other things I'm saying. I was attacking it and acting like if I didn't market them, there's no way they're going to sell and stuff like that. I was in that space and I wasn't really using the resources around me in order to make that easier. So for me, marketing, very hard. I don't like to tell people I'm selling things. That's just not my mindset. But what I want to do is create the art. It's create the experience, right? And so we have to wait until there's that inspired action to where we put something we put a link in the right place at the right time. Because for me, that marketing would be very hard work, right? Because I got to get all the way into a whole different personality type. And then I'm not even that good at it. It's just not going to be that good. So just keep that in mind. Hard work doesn't work because you're doing too much. It doesn't work. It'll keep you afloat. It'll help you survive. And most people want to do more than survive. And that's what hard work will get you, surviving. When you're riding on an interstate, in my house, I can see one of the interstates here from the window, like in the distance. And in the morning, sometimes when I'm like up early or something, I'll look out the window, like if I'm on my walking pad, and I'll see all these cars rushing. I see it turn into traffic and the red lights begin. And I'm just thinking, like, so many people are working hard and they're not getting anywhere in their lives. And they're trying to figure out what's wrong with that, because isn't the solution working hard? And I'm like, hard work is the opposite of what brings true abundance in your life. First of all, you're having a rough experience. And then second of all, you're not into the receptive mode of the resources around you and what could be helping you. And then third of all, you're wearing yourself out. It's like you're using all the gas in the tank. And by the time you're like 50, 60 years old, you're worn out. You're worn the hell out. And I'm saying this because I have firsthand witnessed this in my own surroundings with people that have worked their bodies, their time and their energy hardcore until they couldn't anymore. And you don't want to be that way. And then so what if you do get some abundance and does work out eventually, but you won't even be able to experience it because now you're paying for medical bills. Now you're trying to take care of, the parts of your life that fell apart while you were doing the hard work. And let's not even add on to that family and relationships and connections that people want to have. And because there's so much grinding, they're doing so much hustling and they're working so hard, they don't even establish connections with the people that they're most closest to. And when they finally get these things and it works out, they have the abundance that they want to experience, the financial experience, they have the career experience, and the business has grown. They don't have the relationships or the connections with the people that they were most connected to, the people that were the family. And they'll say, well, I was doing all this for you all, but there's still a disconnect happening because none of the stuff that was important was being paid attention to, right? So that's all I got. Why hard work doesn't work. It's one thing to tell people don't work hard, but then it's like if you break down why it doesn't work out, that's something to do. So it's like my thought process is always be working yourself into a way to where you're not doing hard work, right? And believe me, I still have to catch myself sometimes to not make work when there's nothing to do. Like there's nothing to do right now. You're here to be on call for this thing. You're here to be consulted for this thing. So there's no need for you to make work. It's not necessary. And the thing about it is that when you leave a workplace and you have not hustled yourself into a grind in that place, it's like you leave and you're just like, there's something else I should be doing. You get home at 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon and you still got so much energy. You got even more energy because you haven't been giving it out. I know I haven't. I have not been giving it out. And I got all this time to chat with my children and to make food. I cook dinner at night sometimes and I'll do exercising. I'll write things. It's like I have all of this energy still to be used because I didn't wear myself out. Anyway, I don't want to go on about that forever, but just keep in mind that, there's reasons why hard work doesn't work. When it's purposeful, it's not hard. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day.